I am out for my first morning walk with Poppy, and we have made it like 200 meters from our house maybe because she is having her first snow experience. Well, sort of like snow the other day, but not on the ground. This is the first time we've gotten up and there's been like a little bit of snow on the ground. She's just obsessed, like, what is this? Anywhere that someone or a child or something has like clumped the snow, she needs to eat it. She's like sniffing everywhere. It's actually really cute, but it's the slowest, most painful walk we've had in a while.
It's Monday afternoon. It's been an okay day. I got dressed but did not do my hair. I was able to go out on one of my errands. I got my Yorkshire tea. This is the spare box. The other box is already open and tea is steeping. Priority number one upon getting home with Yorkshire tea is to make a pot of tea, especially when you haven't had any in like a week. So tea is steeping. I've been listening to the Book of Gothel all day. I keep wanting to say Mother Gothel, but I've been listening to the Book of Gothel off and on, and I'm going to put it back on and finish up some housework before Poppy wakes up. I think she'll probably be getting up soon and we'll go for a big walk. But I've been listening to it and like I am enjoying it, but definitely the amount of like lying and manipulating that is going on to our main character Helvis is really distressing, but then I don't always agree with the way that Helvis responds, and I get it that she's like responding from a lack of power and in the situation that she is in and all of those things. Like, I get that this is a troublesome and like a really distressing situation for her. Like, I'm distressed reading about all of the lying and carrying on that's going on. So it's just like, it's an enjoyable read, but it's also like a little bit of a challenging, difficult read in that regards. But I'm enjoying it, so I'm gonna keep at it. I was doing some editing today for week 2's vlog. I was going to include today, Monday, in week 3's vlog. And you know what? Week 3 has enough content, so I'm just going to move on. You already know this because you are watching the week 4 vlog. And this is where it is. So anyway, so I'm going to, I've been doing some editing for that, and it's actually been going okay. So I think I'll be able to get it up tomorrow like I had planned, if I can get a decent amount in of just like the fine tuning and adding the music in the right places and finding the right songs and cutting some content, because I always film too much, even when I think that I don't have enough. So that's where we are. I'm going to keep at it and I will keep you in the loop.
I don't want to alarm anyone or jinx. Oh no. Oh my god. No, I jinxed it in the act of saying jinx. No.
That's karma right there.
No, I was going on to be like, she's being quiet. She's chilling. She's chilling alone she's just chilling on the couch, even though it's late and she hasn't done anything. Oh.
You acknowledged your error immediately to the gods, so they've rewarded you.
So we're having chill time, which means I can, oh, I made a weird noise with my mouth.
Yeah, you just gotta stop yourself. I don't know what you're doing.
You know that I'm filming, right?
No.
Oh, okay. I've been filming. Who did you think I was talking to you?
What do you mean, yeah?
No, no.
Why would you not be
Filming.
talking to me? We're in the same room. Who else would you be talking to? Like, I'm the idiot.
My people. And yet here we are, still chilling. I'm gonna read. Send. I think she's upset with me for being here. I'm gonna do some reading. Send positive physical book reading time vibes. Hey y'all, it is Friday morning. I thought I would get on and let you follow along with my day today.
I am just hanging out here with old Poppers. Oh, and she moved, so now I have to move my camera even further. We're having some post-walk snuggles. She usually does it in the crate. I might put her there anyway because she's relaxed, but she's not really asleep. So, plan for the day is to get some serious physical book reading done. I've worked a little bit more like shifts the last couple weeks. I've been just like full-time poppy mode the last few days, always. No, don't chew the blanket. No, that's not your blanket. And in the evenings, there's just not enough like time to physically read a book before my partner wants to turn off the lights. You know, it's like I get home well after 8. My last class usually ends, and when I teach in the evenings at 7:45, so that, you know, wait for people to change, bike home. It's practically 8:20, 8:30 by the time I'm home. Eat dinner, play with Poppy a little bit, take her out for her final outing, get into bed. Suddenly it's 10, you know, and then my partner's like, 5 minutes, finish the chapter you're on. How do you say, like, ooh, I just started the chapter. So anyway, so I have to get some serious, excuse me. So I have to get some serious reading in The Lies of Lucklemore done today. I have only a couple hours left of Book of Gothel. No worries there for the audiobook. I've been almost exclusively listening to the audiobook for that one. I haven't read the ebook in a while. I have to go run some errands. There's like one of the chains of the grocery stores that we used to live close to back in our old city, and then we don't anymore. Just opened up like yesterday up the road from us. So exciting. And they're also building another really good chain at like the opposite end of the corner. It's like still like concrete, you know, no roof kind of thing. But so that one's going to be a while, but very excited about the new grocery store. I feel like I'm getting a little bit of cold. Hopefully it's just a cold. So I want to go and see if that new store has hauls, which they don't carry like regularly here in most grocery stores. They have nothing that feels like a eucalyptus menthol balm going off my throat. So what else eases sore throat pain? Oh, you tell me. No, but it's just like the lozenges that they have here are like super weak. So I'm gonna go see if I can track down something a little bit stronger. I know they have like Fisherman's Friends as well, but it's tough to find stuff that does not have licorice in it. That's a whole other Danish-ism I won't get into today. So we're gonna do that. Got some tea started. I'm gonna have breakfast. So today, if Dave is up for it, if he's feeling it, we're gonna pick him up from work and go to a park from there, and have like a nice fun like play session, training session. I might invite one of the other local dogs to see if they want to meet up and have like play sessions nearby. We'll let the dogs meet at some point, but we want it to be like relaxed, right? So they need time to feel like it's not a big deal. There's other dogs here. It's cool. And then hopefully House of the Dragon tonight in bed. That's the plan. I probably should fit in some job searching in there as well. So I will let you know how it goes. But I will tell you a little bit about the Book of Gothel, just because I'm almost done. So I want to say like how I'm feeling before things start to like really shake out. You know what? No, I'm going to go put her down first, and then I will update you on Book of Gothel. Okay, I'm back. Poppy's down in her crate. She's still awake. I can hear her chewing on stuff. But she just doesn't fall asleep well enough when I leave her like out as much as I would like to. I am working on it though. So finally was able to pour my tea. And I do this every morning, or not every morning, but often I will put the pot of tea on, and then I'll get snuggly with Poppy, and then I'm like, well, now I can't pour my tea because she's on top of me and I can't possibly move her. So I poured my tea. I made myself some breakfast, which is fruit salad and granola. and skewer. So, Book of Gothel. I haven't said much actually about the book even, or I think even what the book is about. We're following Helavis, who is going to become the person witch, I'm not sure what terminology is used for her, who locks Rapunzel in the tower. And this is following her as a young girl. So it's more of like a prelude to the Rapunzel situation. And we meet up with her in like a small town in historical Germany. She's got like a, childhood sweetheart who she goes up with, but she suffers from these fits where she kind of loses consciousness, and because of the time period, they think that she's possessed by a demon. So she's sort of tolerated in town for the most part until a certain event or time period. And then she's not, and she's basically told, like, stay home so you don't let your demon spread to the rest of us, kind of thing. And even that wears thin, and some other stuff goes on with her home life. And eventually she makes her way to the Tower of Gothel, where she begins to be trained in more of the, it's kind of like wise woman ways. I'm forgetting the terminology that they use here, but it's sort of like magic and herbalism and herb lore. And her mom was also a midwife, so the mom was trained to had been training her to be a midwife also. So there's that going on, and I'm always up for both a herb lore done well and midwife main characters. Love it. Would almost always pick up a book, like a fantasy book where the person is a healer or a midwife. Like, that's my jam. So I have been enjoying it, but the plot has definitely gone in a direction that I was not expecting. I don't know why, but I guess I thought that the time period would be more broad, like covering a larger span of her life. I guess I thought when I heard people talking about it, they're like, it sounds like it ends like right before the Rapunzel situation. So I guess I pictured that being with Helavis a little bit older. And it's not. And then because we started out with her as a young girl, like I thought we were going to get like her life story sort of, especially because I didn't mention this, but the book is framed like there's a prologue essentially where it's like a scholar in this time period who travels to Germany to read a manuscript. And what we're reading is this manuscript written by this figure, Helavis. So I guess I thought it was going to be more of her life story. I thought we were going to go through like several periods of time with her, not time periods, but like several stages of her life with her. And that has not been the case. It's covered like a period of about 6 months sort of thing. So I don't want to say I'm disappointed by that, but I did think that I was going to get more of an overarching, like not just this young girl's view of the world on womanhood at this time period, but someone who lives through different life stages and their perspectives on that and how that changes. So it's just a matter of expectation there, which I know a lot of people had that in regards to the Rapunzel thing. I think people thought it was going to be a Rapunzel telling, because I think that's what the marketing was. So, and I knew that it wasn't going in, but I did think maybe it was going to be more of her whole life, and that has not been the case. The plot has also gone in a direction in regards to some local royalty that I wasn't expecting. Maybe I should have, considering like some hints along the beginning, but those only ever look like hints when you look back. You know, in a book where you're reading it and you're like, so they like randomly mention a god or a story or like a legend or whatever, like they make a random reference to something in the world, and either it's done in a way that immediately, like there are times when you're like, yep, that's going to be a thing later. But then there are also times where you don't realize, and then it comes back later, and you're like, oh, yeah, of course, why else would they mention that? Because at the time, you're like, world building, this is a real place. But it almost always has to do, and it's whether or not you realize it in the moment. I think Helavis is a very interesting character. She is very naive in some ways. course, it's like her age in this time period. But then she's interestingly very outspoken in a way that I don't know that someone of her age and upbringing, etc., would have been, or at least like based on the time period, she says some pretty bold things to people in power, and you're like, is that realistic? And just little things like that bother me, where I'm like, would she really have said that? I don't know. But maybe that's the point, is that she is someone who is like not afraid to say what she thinks or to fight for what she thinks is right. And that's definitely been the case. But I am enjoying it. This isn't where I thought the plot was going to go, even though I knew it wasn't like the Rapunzel retelling. This isn't where I thought the plot was going to go, and for some reason that's bugging me a little bit. Like, I'm getting a very different story than I was expecting, even when I was like a third of the way into this book. This is not the direction that I thought this book was going. And I wanted more of her learning the ways, I guess, in the tower more than what it has been. I don't want to be spoilery here. So I have, I think, only a couple hours left, or like a pretty short amount of time period left on the audiobook. And I am definitely in the place where it feels like I'm waiting for the shoe to drop, like for everything to go wrong. I just have this feeling in the pit of my stomach that things are not going to turn out well in regards to certain characters or certain dynamics or that sort of thing. So that's where I'm at. I'm like nervous to keep reading, actually, because I feel like everything's about to go wonky. And you want the main character to get their way, like to get what they want. Generally, if you buy into the main character and their motivations and goals, you want the main character to succeed, generally. So I don't know if the path that this is going to lead to what Hillevis most wants, and that saddens me, I guess. And I know that it's the whole witch in the tower kind of a thing, so I guess that's already a bit of a like spoiler, that you know that that's where this is going to end. But I just don't know how the other elements around it are going to go, and that is worrisome. So that is where I'm at with the Book of Gothel. I'll definitely finish that in the next couple days. I don't want to make any promises about when I will finish it, but I have until Tuesday, I believe, is the last day of the readathon. Lies of Lockamora, as I said, I have been just like reading a handful of pages a night. I don't even think I'm at 60 pages yet. Like, I think I might be at 50, but even that seems like a stretch. And this is following, I think it's third person omniscient, pretty sure. We've already gotten a couple perspectives that I wasn't expecting to get. And we are generally following Loch Lamora. And at the very beginning, it starts out with him as a very young child, and he's being like sold into this, let's say, priesthood. But it goes back and forth where his current like benefactor, I guess, is trying to offload him to this priesthood. And it even goes back and forth there where it's like those two having that meeting and then shooting back to like how Locke came to be in the situation with this benefactor. And it goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, which I understand can be jarring because it actually is quite quick, short snippets each way. And then we switch into a more current time period, although I think that there are still going to be flashbacks. And in the current time period, we are setting up they're just at the setup for a con. They are just going to do like the meet where they hook, I guess is the right way, where they hook what's it called? What's the person called who's the victim in a con? Not Patsy, but you know what I mean. Anyway, they're about to hook the guy that they're going to rob from. And even then it is going back and forth a little bit between like earlier in the day when they're setting up to then when things are happening. Has it been going back and forth? And it's shifting perspectives a little bit as well. And then, as I said, I think that we're going to get flashbacks again to childhood and upbringing as well. So it's fun so far. The writing is very descriptive, which I have heard and experienced previously. I'm just basically about caught up. Actually, no, I think I'm past now. I'm past where I have read when I first picked this book up a couple years ago to try out. So yay, I've surpassed that. But it is really descriptive in like the description of the town that they're in and like the city and that sort of thing, which hit or miss. It's a little bit slow, but I'm really waiting and hoping for the con to kind of get rolling. I love a good con artist. I think they're very interesting characters to read from. I don't necessarily need it always to be like a big heist, which I know that I think this is, but I do love a good con artist because I just think that they're very interesting characters. I don't want to say people because like I disapprove of real life con artists, but I watch con artist documentaries because I think that it's so fascinating in a weird way, in the way that other people watch true crime, right? I don't really get into the true crime, that sort of thing, like murders and whatnot. But con artist stuff, yeah, because I'm just like the audacity of people and the manipulating and like how some people are just like that charismatic and good at reading people and good at like shifting in the situation and playing at the con. Like I love a good con artist character is what I'm getting at. So I'm very hopeful that I will enjoy this. So that is where I'm at. I will let you go for now, and I will update you as the day goes on, hopefully with lots of physical reading. I think I'm going to get out Liza Locklemoore now while I eat my breakfast or whatever, and then I'm going to go quick run to the grocery store. We'll see if I can get myself some Halls or some Fisherman's Friends, something stronger for my sore throat. Okay, it's Friday night. I've done none of the things that I planned to today other than hang out with this old poppers. Did not make it to the grocery store. Have not done any reading. I did make a birthday reel for Poppy though. She does have her own Instagram account. It's really common in like the group of owners that I know through our trainer. And I wasn't planning on doing it, but then I noticed like everyone else had one, and it's actually just been a really great way to connect with other dog owners. So no shame. I will link it down below if you are interested in following Poppy on Instagram. Anyway, so it's Friday night. Dave is watching the Leafs game, and I am finally going to sit down and do some reading. We had dinner already. Dave made homemade pizza. It was absolutely delicious. I've had some candy because it's Friday and some Oreos, and I'm going to have some tea and hopefully make a ton of progress in the Liza Locklemoore if somebody does not become too distracting. She was happily chilling on her dog bed until I left the room. She came with. She always gets the inside of the yellow chair. This is how we set up every time. There we go. Okay, wish me luck. I'm not getting it. Hey, so it is Saturday night. I'm just sitting down. We're going to be doing some reading sprints for Team Witches in about 40 minutes or so. So I've got my laptop charging, my headset or my headphones charging, and my phone charging as well. So I'm going to be focusing on reading the physical lives of Locklemoore. I am just now 100 pages in. I've got a little bit of reading time now before that starts, and then hopefully I'll be able to make like significant headway. I need to read a lot during this reading sprint because I think the book is 500 pages. Yeah, it's like 530 pages, and I have to finish that by the end of the day, Tuesday I think it is, whenever the end of the day whenever the 30th of November is. So that is the plan, but I was able to finish the Book of Gothel today, or at least I think I have. I actually just realized that I haven't listened to the epilogue yet. So I have still to do that, and that's like the researcher in current time who's reading this manuscript. I have really mixed feelings though about the way the Book of Gothel ended. So I am glad that I was able to get on and talk a little bit about how I was feeling before reading the actual, like, how things shook out, because I don't know. I feel like the whole point of this, if you're doing like, hey, this is the typically villainous role, here's her backstory, you're supposed to be building a lot of empathy and understanding and like for that character. And to some extent, I feel like that this book succeeded in that right until the very end, when the characters' motivations are so very clearly skewed and selfish, and kind of convincing herself that she's doing the right thing because it also lines up with something positive, like preventing a bad thing from happening, when really she's doing it for really, really icky reasons. And it really didn't sit well with me. Just like the wording of what was happening, of like the thought process that was going through the character's mind. It didn't make me feel comfortable at all. Really, really unsettled feeling about how that shook out. And, you know, I know that there's like, this was like the retelling of Rapunzel from the other side. And then I heard like, no, it's not really, it's more of like what happened right before. And I would say it's more of like how that situation came to be is the story that we're telling. And like I said before with the plot, like I did expect the story to be like, there's a part at the end where she was like, and this is how the rest of my life rolled out. And I was like, that's the story that I wanted. I wanted like the full, how you spent your days, full shakeout perspective of their life. And what we got was a really, really brief snippet in time before things happen, or as things start to happen. And it's like, it's a tough one, because I feel like I enjoyed so many elements of this book. I really liked. I just don't think I liked Hellebis. And I feel like that is going to upset some people. So, but then whenever I listen to an audiobook, I'm always a little bit, there are elements to that where it has to do with a specific main character, where I wonder if I would have liked something better if I had just read it myself. Because then there are different ways that you like inflect the way that characters are saying things, that you read in, like, I think that sometimes you do the character's voice differently in your own head, or at least I definitely feel that way. There are certain books that I didn't like as the audiobook, and I went back and read them as the ebook, and I was able to like play the character a little bit differently in my head, and I liked it that much more, even though like all of the things are being said exactly the same. It just has to do with like the way the dialogue happens, or the way the internal thoughts are read. And that really, I wondered if that would affect it here. Not that I thought the audio was well done, but I just wonder if I would have done it differently in my head, and if that would have made me like Hellebis a little bit more. I think that's all I can say without it being spoilery. I can see why it wasn't quite as well received as maybe people originally expected it to. Like, I think it was like a fairly anticipated book for this year, and I do know that the Goodreads reviews or ratings is like a little bit on the lower end, and I can understand why, particularly with the ending. I'm actually going to maybe check out some of the reviews and see if other people commented on the way the motivations were described in the ending. It just... So, on to Lies of Locke Lamora. I have, I guess, 400 pages left to read before the end of the month. I am quite pleased that I seem to have been able to read the majority of what I wanted to read for this readathon, with even the addition of 10,000 stitches, assuming that I can read, 400 pages in the next couple days. Which, I mean, if it wasn't a physical book, I wouldn't be as worried about it. It's just like getting time to physically read is definitely more of an issue. But so far I'm liking it. I like, I guess I was saying before, I like a good con story, and this, it hasn't been as character, in depth as I thought, but we have started to get the back and forth interludes where it's showing you Locke at a younger age and sort of how he came to be who he is in this time period, in this window. It is getting a little bit more detail on like the city than I think that I need, but I'm willing to power through those descriptions in order to hear more about the con and all of that. So I think it's interesting that we're getting the con like as its mark. Mark is the word. I was thinking when I was talking the other day, I was like, I can't remember the word for like the person that they're doing the con against. It's the mark. So this time period like of the con, it starts out not with the planning, it actually starts like with like the first meeting with the mark, or the first touch, I think is what they called it, with the mark. So that's an interesting place, because I feel like usually with cons it's like the whole is like you start with like the person that you're doing the con for, or like whatever, if it's a group of thieves, and then most of the book is like the planning and all of that, and then the execution of the con itself, whereas this is starting with, okay, let's roll out an existing plan that we don't have all the details to. So that was it's an interesting place to start a con story. Although I guess it's the same with the Mask of Mirrors. Is that a good sign? Maybe. Today it was pretty chill, pretty relaxed. We had like a really, really quiet, chill morning with Poppy. We went out for a very calm walk. She had like a big sleep in the afternoon. It's just been a really chill day. We just like hung out at home. Excuse me. Poppy and us have had like some good like separation time with us in different rooms, which is something that we're working on. You guys don't need to know all of my dog training details, but you're going to get them because that's all that happens in my life. And like I said, we're doing some reading sprints in a bit. I just made some banana bread, so I'm going to be eating that. I might make myself either some hot chocolate or some like golden milk, either one. I'm all done with tea for the day, so I'm going to have something creamy and warm and delicious instead. Hopefully get lots of reading done with Eliza Blackmore, and then early tomorrow morning we're going to do another park meetup with another puppy friend. So that is the plan, and I will let you know when I am a chunk more into Eliza Blackmore.
Okay, I'm officially calling it. It is after 10 p.m. on the night of November 30th. I am 315 pages into The Lives of Locke Lamora, so I'm obviously not going to be able to finish this one for step 5 of the readathon. But overall, I am pretty satisfied with my reading for the readathon. I read an extra book at step 3, and overall that was 4 books. I followed my TBR. This was the last book on my TBR. And this was one of my must-read before the end of the year books anyway, so it's not like I'm just, it was counted for nothing. It's still a book that I'm checking off for the ones for that other list of books that I need to get done. I am really enjoying it. I know this is backwards, but I am really enjoying it, actually. It's a lot less focused on, like, the con that they set up at the beginning. That was kind of a big deal for the first quarter, and then things kind of shifted, and the focus has been elsewhere, sort of more on city politics, not really actual city politics, but more like the gangs, the crime, that kind of politics within the city. And I have a pretty good guess about who someone is. I feel pretty confident, actually, that I know who this mysterious figure is. So we'll see if that turns out to be the case. But I have really high suspicions. But yeah, I'm actually really enjoying it. I'm really liking the back and forth interludes where we're getting more of the gentleman bastards growing up and kind of how they were raised and how they were taught and trained, and
all of the little stuff with chains. Really enjoying that aspect, and the current timeline I think is and pretty enjoyable. So overall, I'm really enjoying it. I definitely don't need as much of like the specific details of the city, but I think that that's part of the building of the atmosphere. I don't have like a good image of like the city itself, but yeah, so overall enjoying it. I have thoroughly enjoyed the readathon overall. I've had a great time on the Discord with Team Witches, and on the couple of reading sprints that I was able to join in. That was really nice to touch base with everyone. I think this was a really fun readathon overall, following the steps along the way. I enjoyed all of the books that I read for it, so I'm quite pleased with how it went, even though I did not quite get to finish my last book. From here, there's a couple things going on in December. I think I'm going to mostly mood read. I think I'm going to read like the books that I have to read before the end of the year, as many of those as I can. I'm going to try to fit those into various prompts for various different readathons going on in December that my friends are part of. So Kristen Crave's books is part of the reindeer readathon, so I'm going to check out and see. Oh god, I have to sign up for that immediately before the end of the night. I have to sign up for that and get randomly put into a team. So I'm going to try to do to fit as many of those prompts. I don't know anything about it yet, but I'm going to check that out and see if I can participate in that. And then also my friend Sarah from the channel Bright and Bookish is doing the Bright and Merry readathon, I think is what it's called, and it's a really fun board game style one where really you just like can totally mood read, you can totally library read, and you find prompts that fit the book that you did read on this board game to collect tokens. I will link both of the announcement videos for Kristen and Sarah's stuff down below so you can check those out. But yeah, I'm just gonna do what I can in December. That's the thought there, and participate and join in those readathons if I am able. That is it. I hope you have enjoyed following along with me over the course of the month of November, over the course of the readathon. I'm sorry if you got way more puppy training information and details than you wanted, but that's very much so my life at the moment. Anyway, that is it for me. I will follow it up next week with some wrap-ups and some, end of the year planning videos, hopefully. So I will see you there. Have a great rest of your day, everyone, and I will see you next time. Bye.